All right, New York Jets football is back. We are 48 hours away from our first preseason game, so let's get fired up. Hope everybody is having a great night. Saturday will be our very first preseason game and our first chance to get a look at Aaron Glenn's New York Jets. I, for one, am excited. I can't wait. It's been a long time. I think finally, real Jets football is back, and I, for one, am looking forward to it. Tonight, I'm going to break down a little bit of what we've seen in training camp from the Jets so far and what I expect to see come Saturday night when we face the Packers. And I've been trying to give you guys some different takes. I've talked about why I think Breece Hall will be the second leading receiver on this team. I've talked about why I think the Jets will absolutely re-sign Quincy Williams after the year. I have talked about, why I think that having Tyron Smith on the Jets last year had benefits that we're not seeing until now. I try to give you guys some different perspectives, and I've got another one coming up tonight that I hope you will enjoy. As I get ready to do that, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of music. So with that, here is some Blitz BK.
There's a brand new show that you can stream, dropping that knowledge like a guillotine. You about to score big like a touchdown drive because Rickie, New York is about to go live. So subscribe now and do not settle. We taking YouTube content to a whole new level. We got the best roster at every position. These are the brand new Jets. So please stop your bitching. If negativity's a problem, we got the solution. It's called the next step in Jets fan evolution. Football is back. You better brace for collision because Rickie, New York Live's gonna smoke the competition. It's time for some action. Someone hit the lights, cause it's about the fans of the green and white. Opinions that are stronger than a mountain of steel, and a mouth that's faster than hell on wheels. Yo, a war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. Going up against Rickie, New York Live. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. Going up against Rickie, New York Live.
All right. So, we have our first preseason game Saturday night against the Green Bay Packers. And we've had a couple of rough days from the offense the last couple of days. But then today, the offense came back out, looked better, and responded, which at this time of the year, I think that's all you can hope for. Now, I've talked about, some different things that maybe other channels haven't talked about. I've got another one for you tonight. Everybody keeps talking about who is going to emerge as that second safety next to Andre Sisco. And I'm going to give you the answer right now. The answer is going to be Tony Adams. Tony Adams, when training camp first started, he had an interview where he said he is grateful to be here. The Jets tendered him. He talked to AG. AG told him, you're going to compete for a starting spot. We have a plan for you. And talking to people who have been at the actual training camp practices, I've heard from numerous people that Tony Adams is one of the most vocal guys out there on the field. He is constantly chirping, constantly getting the other guys fired up, and just very vocal on the field. He had a nice pick on a deflected pass. Everybody's talking about Jeremy Ruckert with the drop. He popped the ball up in the air. It got intercepted. Tony Adams made a really nice diving interception on that play, and that part of it's not getting talked about, I don't think, nearly enough. I think that Tony Adams is going to surprise a lot of people this year. Listening to him talk, talking about what Aaron Glenn did for Kirby Joseph, developed him into one of the better and one of the higher paid safeties in the entire league. I don't know that I expect that big of a jump for Tony Adams, but I think he's going to play a lot bigger part than people think. I know everybody's like, oh, he was bad last year. Well, the whole team was bad last year. Like I don't think we can look at things in the context of just last year, because everything went wrong last year. Nobody really looked that good last year. Even people like Sauce had a down year. Now, that being said, it was, I believe in Tuesday or Monday, Aaron Glenn's presser, when he was talking about the safeties, and he said, Cisco, just like in college at Syracuse and in Jacksonville when he first got into the league, he's been making a lot of plays. He'd made even more plays on the ball than what Aaron Glenn thought that he would. That guy's going to be a playmaker for us. But he also talked about Tony Adams, and he talked about Tony Adams doing a good job communicating and getting all the secondary guys lined up. Dude, that's huge. Okay. Basically, that's kind of like Tony Adams, like the way that CJ called the plays on defense and got everybody lined up. Tony Adams is kind of doing that for the secondary, making the secondary calls and getting guys in the back end lined up properly. And that's big. That makes more of a difference than probably a lot of people think. So that is my prediction. Not only will Tony Adams be our starter this year at that second safety spot, but I think we're going to see some really good things from Tony Adams this year. I think he's going to be making some plays. I think he's going to turn some heads. And I think that Jets fans are going to have a lot different perspective on him by the time the year ends. So that's my Tony Adams prediction. I think he's going to have a big year, and I think he's going to do a lot of good things for this team. Now that is a hot take. Damn. I don't know how many of you agree with me. I don't know how many of you have faith that he can take another step. But if you don't believe me, if you don't believe that, then believe this. Aaron Glenn is going to get the most out of these players, Tony Adams included. If you don't believe in me, believe in this coach. We finally have the right coach to lead this organization. And I really, truly believe that. There's a reason that all the players are saying things look so much different and feel so much different this year. There's a reason that guys who have been on the beat forever are saying we haven't seen this kind of intensity in practice since the Parcells days, since the Herm Edwards days. What I get from that is the practices look and feel like they did back when the Jets were a winning organization. And to me, that bodes well for our future. So I can't wait. I can't wait for this game on Sunday. I'm looking really forward to see how we do against another team and get some live action in. I want to see the offense. I want to see what receivers step up. And I want to see our O-line. There's a lot of things I'm looking for. I think that our offensive line and our secondary are going to be the two strongest units on this team, but I really am looking forward to seeing them in some action against another opponent, not just against our guys in practice. Real quick, I want to apologize to everyone. For some reason, I can't make the call-in link the pinned comment. For whatever reason on my YouTube, it's just the option isn't even there. I'm not sure why that is. So I decided to to just put the call-in link as a, Q&A question and put it up there. But somebody told me that it's not working. You can't click on it. So I'm just going to keep posting the call-in link in the chat for you guys. If anybody wants to call in, I'll keep posting that periodically throughout the show. Apologies for that. I'm working on this. Not sure why it's giving me these issues, but I will eventually get that sorted out for you guys and make it easier where I can just pin that comment. Until such a time, like I said, I'll just keep putting the link in the chat every so often so that you guys can call in. Moving on. It sounds like good news that we don't have a lot of players that are going to miss this week. I know there have been some injuries, but it sounds like Byron Cowart is the only one who is going to not be active for this week. It'll be curious to see how much the starters play. I would say they're definitely going to get, at least a couple series at the beginnings of the game. I mean, I don't want them out there for a prolonged period of time. The injury risk is a real thing. However, echoing what Justin Fields said, being a new system, new teammates, everything, like they need some live action. And I completely agree. Those guys need to play against opponents that aren't just our guys. So really looking forward to seeing how we match up against another squad. Also, I want to see our, not just our O-line, but our run game in general in person against another opponent. I want to see how our backs do. I want to see how this offensive line does. And I could go through, position group by position group. The honest truth is I'll be looking at everything. There is no facet of this team that I don't want to see. I think it's going to answer a lot of questions, hopefully, relieve a lot of doubts. But yeah, I think that, this will provide valuable experience for some of our young guys and, really give us an idea of the direction of this team. Now, preseason games, they don't really game plan for each other and, everything, especially offense is very vanilla. They don't really reveal a lot of their actual playbook in preseason games. But that's not to say, we're not going to be able to get a good idea of some things anyway. Mainly, like I said, the offensive line, the run blocking, and how our run game is going to look. We're going to depend on the run a lot this year. So, how do we look against another team? Can these guys get it done? I would venture to say yes. But Green Bay is a good team. So we'll see. We'll see how this looks. My main thing is I don't want to see like our starters versus their backups because that's not a good indicator. Like I want to see starters versus starters, our ones against their ones, our best players against their best players, who comes out on top. So the other thing that I would say I want to really see, and this doesn't have so much to do with the players as the coaches, is I want to see if there are any like in-game adjustments as this game goes on. I know that coaching has been one of, if not our biggest problem over the last couple of years. So I definitely want to see, do we have penalty issues? Do we have clock management issues? Are there in-game adjustments being made if things aren't going well? Like these are the questions that are still out there. After our last regime, I can't possibly imagine that it could be any worse. And so I don't have those same worries with this coaching staff, but I want to see what it looks like, and I've been more optimistic than most. Okay. I was the biggest Aaron Glenn supporter from day one. A lot of people who were very hesitant in the beginning seem like they're warming up to the idea and starting to come around. People that were saying we're only going to win 4 games this season now suddenly are saying 7 or 8. And so I think slowly but surely the fan base is starting to warm up to this new coaching staff and this new identity that the team has. So that being said, people are like, I have to see it first. Like I'll believe it when I see it. So this is our chance. For all those people that said, I'll believe it when I see it, well, this weekend, we're going to see it. This weekend, we're going to get our first look at the new New York Jets. Okay, the same old Jets, they're gone. That same old Jets shit, it's over with. Okay, these aren't the same old Jets. These are the brand new Jets. I think that it's been a long time for this fan base since we've had something that we can really be proud of. I think it's been a long time for this fan base where we could really get fired up for Jets games on the weekend. And I know that this is only a preseason game. I know that we're not going to get a full look of what this is going to look like, but even though it's preseason, I do think this game this weekend will answer some questions. Some questions about the approach of this coaching staff, the approach of this offense, like what it's going to look like. And again, like I said, it'll probably be very basic, very vanilla, but, it'll still be good to see how we stack up against actual competition. So I'm looking forward to this. And most of the time, I could care less about preseason, honestly. Preseason, it's kind of really lost a lot of its importance over the last several years. Like, these days, like the starters don't really play a lot until that last preseason game. It's basically become more of like an evaluation tool where guys who are your 4s and your 5s and your guys who are battling for roster spots, this is their chance to go out and show what they've got, make their argument of why they should be on the 53-man roster, and see who's going to make the team and who's not. But it's more of an evaluation tool than an actual game like it used to be. We've got less preseason games. It feels like there's less importance put on them. But in our particular situation, where we've got a brand new offensive system, a new defensive system, we've got brand new coaches, I think it's a lot more important for us than it is, say, for other teams. So while it doesn't really mean anything, we're not playing for anything there, wins and losses in the preseason don't count. All that is true, but I do think it's a good chance for us to get our first look at this team and the direction that they have, be it offense, be it defense, be it coaching. This is the probably most excited I've been for a preseason game in a long time. Now, funny story, this week I was on Twitter and somebody posted a picture from a preseason game in '98. And I hadn't really even thought about it until I saw that picture. But the very first Jets game that I went to after I moved to New York was a preseason game against the Philadelphia Eagles. And that year we had changed the uniforms. And, we had those uniforms that we wore for, most of that Curtis Martin, Kevin Mawai era, the Herm Edwards era, that was the first time they ever wore those jerseys, was in that preseason game. And because I had just moved to New York, and that was my first time going to a game of any type as a New Yorker, I was real fired up for that. And this is probably the most excited I've been since then for a preseason game. And I dug through my photos the other day, and I dug out an old picture of myself wearing my David Clowney jersey and reposted that to Twitter to kind of celebrate the preseason getting ready to kick off, because he was our preseason MVP back when he was here. And a lot of people are probably saying, why the hell would you even have a David Clowney jersey? Backstory, I met David Clowney in person one time, and it was just completely by accident, just a totally random occurrence. We were coming back from South Florida and pulled off the interstate and stopped to get something to eat. And the place where we were getting something to eat, him and I believe it was his cousin came in while we were there. And it was just a weird by coincidence type thing. But he was probably one of the coolest athletes I've met in person. Really cool, really welcoming guy, and was just real awesome to talk to. And so I went out and got a jersey. And so that's the story of why I have a Clowney jersey. But getting back to this year's team, once again, I just have to reiterate that, I think we're going to see a lot different brand of Jets football than what we've seen in the past. I think it's going to be more physical, more aggressive. And, you always hear those things about like people giving it 100%, people leaving it all on the field. I think that's what we're going to see out of this team. I don't think we're going to be complaining about lack of effort, loss of focus, the things that have plagued us over the last several seasons. I don't think we're going to have those same complaints. I think Aaron Glenn will be the guy to get all that cleaned up and have us pointed in the right direction. So I'm looking very forward to that. And real quick, kind of a side note, it doesn't have anything to do with the Jets, but I had somebody recently that dropped out of our fantasy football league over political reasons, so we may end up being a person short. So if anybody is interested, DM me. You can reach me on Twitter and Discord, whatever. Addison, how you doing tonight, man?
Good. Rickie, how about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Enjoying myself and enjoying doing another show and getting to talk to all you guys and getting ready for a game this weekend.
Well, yeah, Bobby's show ended early, so here we are. Hell yeah. Shout out to his back for ending the show early so we all can come to your channel.
Oh, well, I was about to say, I hope he didn't end just because of me, but
No.
well, that sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that his back's bothering him that much. I hope he feels better.
Bobby will be resting this evening.
Well, that's okay. You know what? He'll get some rest and get that back sorted out, and he'll be back bigger and better than ever. So,
That right. Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Like the Jets this year. Going to be back bigger, better than ever.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, I miss those days of being a Jets fan where, like, I would walk into the sports bar or whatever, and I'd be talking shit from the second I stepped in the door because I didn't think we were going to win. I knew we were going to win.
Oh yeah.
I knew we were going to kick people's ass every week in and week out, and it's been a tough several years. It's been a very humbling several years, but I really honestly feel like finally we're back, baby.
Oh yeah. They better be, especially with someone that can actually escape the pocket and do something with it. That's gonna make at least one extra linebacker be more, have that in the back of his mind, and hopefully that opens up the middle of the field for Mason, Taylor, or Rucker, whoever the hell we have out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Having a mobile quarterback that can take off like that is, I think, going to cause problems for a lot of teams. And, like you said, I can't wait to see like sets where we got, Braylon and Brees both in the backfield, and then Brees splits out wide. And what are you going to defend? I mean, it's like pick your poison. You shut one guy down, the other guy's going to hurt you. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that aspect of the game for sure. And I said this last night. Justin Fields isn't going to be perfect. There's probably going to be some bumps in the road, but with his running ability, he's going to give us some exciting games, or at least exciting moments of games at the very least. We might see some of the most exciting quarterback play we've seen for the Jets in a long, long time. Oh, yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm really looking forward to it. And someone posted over the weekend that during his time in Chicago, Justin Fields offenses averaged 21.5 points a game. And I was like, yeah, well, during that same period of time, the Jets defense was allowing 17 points a game. So by that rationale, simple math tells you if he had been our quarterback then, we probably would have been a playoff team with 10 plus wins. Now, the team is a little bit different now than it was then, but the majority of our defense is still there. And I'll tell you what, having Andre Cisco here, I think is going to be huge. Like I got so pumped because I've been saying all along, I think he'll lead the team in interceptions this year. I think he'll have the most takeaways of anybody. I listened to Aaron Glenn talk the other day where he was like, Cisco got his hands on a lot of balls. Like, he was a ball hawk in college and when he first got to Jacksonville. So I knew he was going to get his hand on some balls, but he's gotten even more takeaways than what I thought. Like, and AG seemed not just surprised, but
we need to cleanse our palate of who was wearing number 8 last year. So to see number 8 dominate this year will be great. The last two guys that wore number 8 were.
I agree. I agree completely. And you know what? Nothing will be sweeter than to watch the former number 8 throw the ball directly to the new number 8.
Oh, and, yeah. I grew up loving the number 8. Last couple years changed my opinion on it.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? So many people have said, like, oh, Rodgers is going to leave the Jets. He's going to go somewhere else and play great. And now people are thinking, that he's just going to somehow dismantle it. Dude, I don't see it. I really don't see it, because we learned the hard way that he's not MVP Aaron Rodgers anymore. He can't move anymore like he used to.
And he still thinks he is. Like, it's not 2010 anymore. Like, we all wanted it to fucking work. Like, no one's just hating him out of nowhere. But it's.
Oh, yeah. Dude, no. Like, when he first got here, I think 95% of us were all in from the second he got here.
Yeah.
And he got here and he said all the right things. And, going back to one of my old analogies, Aaron Rodgers is like that high maintenance girlfriend. Like, when she's getting her way, everything's great. When she doesn't, look out. And that's the way I kind of see it with him, But dude, he can't move. move anymore like he used to. Their offensive line does not look good. Like there was a post on Twitter the other day saying like, look how unhappy Rodgers is with Broderick Jones. Where like, dude, as soon as the ball was snapped, the linemen were in the backfield. They just blew right by him, and Rodgers was livid. But me, I was looking at that, licking my chops. I was like, hell yeah. That's the guy that's going to stop JJ and Will McDonald. Yeah, bring it on.
I hope we send Sherwood and Quincy after his ass on the first play. Just fucking both of them. Take his ass out.
Absolutely. I think we're going to send a lot of blitzes, and dude, I think our lineman period will be able to get home versus him.
Yeah.
I know that Pittsburgh's a decent team and they've got a good defense, whatever, but their offensive line really is not that good. And when you've got an older quarterback that's not mobile like that, having a bad offensive line, that's just not a good combination. So I feel very confident going into that game. I don't think we're going to blow them out. I don't think it's going to be a total ass whooping, but at the same time, I'm very confident we're going to win that game. I could see 24-17 or 24-14 or something like that with the Jets coming out on top. Absolutely.
We're going to frustrate the hell out of Rodgers that day. I want to see him throw his helmet against the bench after his third consecutive 3-and-out. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to see him getting irate with those linemen and throwing people under the bus at his presser and
DK Metcalf in his face saying, "Yo, I was open." It's coming. The perfect storm brewing in Pittsburgh.
Let them have that circus. And it just cracked me up watching the Steelers fans. And dude, them same Steelers fans last year were tweeting about how Rodgers was old and sucked and the Jets were a joke. But now all of a sudden that he's on their team, he's the savior all of a sudden.
Like his superpowers are unlocked when he wears yellow or some shit like that.
Yeah, you know what? I'm thinking whatever. I fell for that same shit last year. So good luck to you guys with that.
I drank the Kool-Aid too, man.
Yeah, I did. I was chugging that shit. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I thought. Yeah, I thought we were gonna like somehow time machine back about 4 years and get that Aaron Rodgers, and it just didn't turn out that way. Not at all.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm looking real forward to this, and Green Bay's a good team. They've got a lot of really good receivers, but we've got the secondary to shut that shit down.
Hell yeah.
Our secondary, I think our secondary is going to be the strongest unit on this whole team. Like, I mean, Michael Carter's great. Sauce is great. Brandon Stevens has looked really, really good. Like a lot better than I expected. I think a lot better than most people have expected.
Yeah. Probably rejuvenated. He's not fucking Jacksonville anymore.
Yeah, and Cisco, like I said, is going to be that ball hawk safety that we've needed for so long. As a whole, man, like I'm really looking forward. Like that's probably one of the parts of the Jets that I'm most anxious to see, that I'm looking most forward to, because I think our secondary is just going to be insanely good this year.
We need more interceptions.
You know what? I think they'll come. I think we got the right coach for that, man. AG has been coaching these boys up, and I know it's only training camp and this is only the preseason, but if training camp is any indication, those boys been making some picks. Those boys been taking the ball away.
Yeah, they definitely got to be having more fun there. The guys that were there the past couple of years, it's got to be a weight off the room because, I mean, however you feel about Rodgers, he's a legend. So, the room stopped. People were staring at the dude, didn't want to piss him off, walking on eggshells, I would imagine. This is speculation here, but now it's younger dude, pressure's off. You're not going to have Rodgers up your ass. So it feels like it's going to be a whole different vibe, and it's great. That's awesome. No more bowing down to the QB before he does anything.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's the thing that with Rodgers is, we had good run plays called last year that he checked out of. And Brees is kind of like a rhythm running back. Like, you've got to feed him the ball. You got to get him those carries so he can get going. When he gets like one carry here and then the next series he gets maybe two carry, like he just never could really get into the flow of the game. And so I know that ain't going to happen with AG. AG going to run the ball. That's always been his philosophy. We're going to run the ball and we're going to stop the run. That's priority number one. So, yeah, that'll be a nice, change in approach. And, dude, AG, that man knew how to take the ball away. When he was on the field, when he played for us, he knew how to take the ball away. And I'll think he'll coach these guys up. And I expect a lot more turnovers from this team defensively than we've had in the past.
Yeah, we need that. Hopefully we're in the top 5 takeaways this year instead of the bottom 5.
Yeah, I hope. I certainly hope so. I will guarantee right now that we'll have a top 5 defense, and I'll say top 10 in takeaways. I don't know if I'm ready to go top 5 quite yet, but you know what? I think it's going to be a vast improvement over what we've seen in the past.
Hell yeah.
And we got Jake checking in. What's happening, Jake? Appreciate you popping in for sure, man.
I like your show too, Jake. Hell yeah.
Yeah, me too. Proud to have Jake Asman say that this is a spinoff of his show. If I could achieve just a fraction of the success that he's achieved, I will consider that a huge win for my channel. Absolutely.
The As multiverse. Let's go.
Yeah, we got to come up with a good name for that too.
Yeah. Yep. Pretty fucking much. Just different airports that these jets fly into.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the tree of Jake. The Jake Asman coaching tree is definitely growing, and definitely
I'm pretty sure that
out.
we're a fan of tree around here on this channel, right?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
This channel, we are definitely fans of the green and the white and the green.
Oh yeah. Thanks.
So you heard it here first, Jets fans, get ready, because just like Rickie, New York, the New York Jets are going to smoke the competition. You heard it here first.
Yeah, right. Get your ass straight, y'all.
Yep. And where there's smoke, there's fire. So
yeah, it's gonna feel great.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get our rhythm, and that RPO is just deadly with Justin Fields, and he's gonna have a lot to prove, because he's gonna want to show everyone that he can fucking do the damn thing. It's his last chance. So light that fire under your ass, Justin.
I think just the fact that this coaching staff is so invested in him is going to do a lot for him mentally, because in Chicago, like, he didn't have weapons. Like, he ran a lot in Chicago, which is strange because they didn't really want him taking off and running. I guess they're worried about the injuries and whatnot. But and then last year, like, he was playing well for the Steelers, but in the back of his mind, I think he knew that it wasn't really his job. He was just kind of a placeholder for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
This time he doesn't have anybody breathing down his back. This time they're kind of designing the whole offense to fit his skill set. So, from a confidence standpoint, I think that'll be huge from him. Now it's just up to him, to take a hold of the reins and like you said, this is going to be his last chance. So,
it's a crazy concept. This year, the coaches are going to tell the player what to do and not the other way around. Pretty great.
Yeah, that'll be a nice change for sure. And, just there's so many little things. And I know that Jake did a show a while back, the players throwing shade at the old regime. But when you really listen to it, like nobody was going, oh God, this is so much better than our last coach.
Yeah.
Like they weren't really talking like that. They were just saying that, this year is better. Like, and when Quincy says like this year, you can tell things are different because nobody's bitching. Well, that tells me that before people were bitching. But like, I think it was kind of a coincidence that it was that, I think what the players were doing were complimenting the new staff, but at the same time, it did make the old staff look bad. But I don't think that was anybody's intention. What's up, man? How you doing tonight?
Yo. You are YouTube, sir.
Yes, you're muted. We can't hear you. Unmute your mic.
He gone. He looks
Or
like
don't.
That's like Logic with glasses. That was a rapper. No, it wasn't Logic. Well, that was a New York Jet fan coming in. He was just speechless. Oh yeah, the comment you have pinned is like a Q&A, and it's not like you can't click it. It's weird.
Yeah, I know. But dude, for whatever reason, when I click on the dots, at the top of the chat or whatever, it's not giving me the option to like pin the call-in link. It's just like not there at all. It is weird. And so I've been trying to figure this out like the last two shows. And for whatever reason, it gave me the option to start a poll or to do a Q&A. And I was like, well, you know what? Screw it. I'll circumvent that and I'll just make the call-in link my question. But apparently that doesn't work. So I will keep posting it, the link in the chat. There it is for you again, Jay Quest. And let's try this one more time.
Yo. No.
I tried unmuting my mic. I don't know. Can you guys hear me? Because I don't know.
There you go.
You're good
now we can hear you.
So I think Justin Fields can be successful. If you want, if Justin Fields wants to be successful, I think the Jets need to run a Ravens-style offense, in my opinion, because with the Chicago Bears, he had a moronic offensive coordinator in Getsy, and then in the Steelers with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Justin Fields had a 4-2 record, and he was benched for Russell Wilson. So that's just my opinion on Fields as a quarterback.
Right.
I can agree with that. I can agree with that for sure.
They quit.
And yeah, man.
What's up, guys?
People are asking you to take the chat. People are asking you to take the chat off the screen so we can see this young man's name and his face.
Okay, let me.
Jay Quest, live from the core. What's going on,
man?
Guys?
What's going on? Congrats, Rickie, on the show. You've had a good amount of success. I'm proud of you, bro.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you, definitely.
Now, real quick, I just feel like this year, I don't know, I'm excited about the season. I don't know what to expect. I feel like the last 2 years really broke me with expecting so much from Rodgers' team, expecting 10, 11 wins. And I don't expect that this year. And I don't think it can happen. But I feel like if we get 6 wins, I'm not going to be totally disappointed. It's going to suck. But I just want to see growth from the players and see coaching, right? Win games because of coaching. We didn't have that the last couple of years. And, it showed. Like last year, talent-wise, we were not a 5-win team. I don't care what anyone says. All these outsiders, Jets were trash. We were in like every single game. Like we could have easily won 10, 11 games. And whether it be coaching one game, Rodgers another, defense, kicking, it was every week. We just couldn't. And Rickie, it reminds me of the 96 team. We were a bad team, right? We were. But if you look at that year in 96, we were in a lot of those games. And Kotite was just a bad coach, you know? And then, Parcells came in the next year. We went 9-7. We could have made the playoffs. We lost to the Lions the last game of the season. That shit still hurts me. But I don't know. I feel like, I feel good about this year. And I don't know if it's going to be good or bad, but at least we don't have a quarterback who's like holding us hostage, taking over the whole team. Now we're a team and we have a real coach who's going to coach these guys up. And you see it, the way he talks, the way he runs his practice is a big difference from last year. I really feel that way.
Yeah. He ain't trying to be everyone's best friend. He wants to be their fucking coach. That's the
exactly
different.
And I'm excited that they're going to actually play in games, on Saturday. Maybe 1 or 2 series, whatever it may be, but at least we get to see him out there and see what's up,
Oh, yeah.
I actually agree with Jay Quest on this comment. I was talking on the Matt O'Leary podcast show. I was talking on about Aaron Glenn, and I like some of his comments. AV2 says he's confident that Glenn can turn around this culture. I was saying that I like that he's talking about discipline because the last 2 years the Jets have been the most undisciplined team in the NFL. How many times have we seen discipline issues? I mean, I remember the Broncos game. We had 13 penalties. That was unacceptable. And Saleh was trying to be he was soft on his players. 2023 we led the league in penalties. Saleh designed 2024. Let's not bring the refs in. The Jets The Jets had the most penalties in 2024 in the National Football League. So I really liked how Glenn is like bringing the discipline. I like he's bringing physicality. And then there's doing a tackling drill. Saleh was soft. He was trying to be everyone's friend, and we never did a tackling drill last year during training camp. But our tackling last year was so bad. At midseason, Jeff Ulbrich had a tackling practice. That's how bad it is. So I like how Aaron Glenn is bringing back the physicality. I think Aaron Glenn could be a good coach in this league. I don't want to keep my hopes up high. I think that my realistic expectations is I think the Jets are going to win 8 games this year, 8-9. Because, the NFC South, the Panthers, look, I'm not saying Bryce Young's bad. I just think second half, is Bryce Young going to keep up the performance? Falcons, I don't know. Their defense is not that good. Their offense, Michael Penix is unproven. And then for the New Orleans Saints, the Saints are going to be like the worst team in the NFL. So we're going to be 3-1 against the NFC South. The Buccaneers, I think, is our only loss. And then in the North, we're going to go like 1-3. We're going to lose to the Ravens. We're going to lose to the Bengals. And then we're going to lose to the Steelers. We're going to beat the Cleveland Browns. And then we're going to beat New England. We're going to beat New England, sweep New England. And then we're going to lose the series to lose 1 game to the Dolphins. We're going to be swept by the Bills. That's just my thoughts. So I'd say like around 7-8 games. We're going to win around 7-8 games.
Hopefully it fucking beats. We got to beat Pittsburgh. Fuck that.
Hey, I don't want to cut anyone off. I got to go punch guys at work. Have a good one, all right, guys? Later,
Jay Quest.
Later, bro.
All right. Have a good night, Jay Quest. Yeah, now, before I even saw the schedule, I was thinking 7 wins. And I'm thinking we could win 7 games with Zach Wilson. There should be no reason in hell that we couldn't win 7 games, with Fields. But looking at the schedule, you could say, we get swept by Buffalo, but one of those games is week 18. Like, if Buffalo's as good as people think they are, they might not even be playing their starters. They may be resting everybody. That might be a gimme win for all we know. I don't know. I do agree with what you said about the NFC South, though. The Bucs game will probably be the toughest game of all those games. Because I'm going to that game, it's here in Tampa. Hopefully you're wrong, and hopefully we win that game because I'll be there, and I don't want to see a loss. I definitely want to see a win that day. But that'll be a tough game for us. But after the bye week, really, Baltimore's really our only tough game after the bye week. Our schedule gets a lot easier. When we were talking about this last night, I said, our schedule gets a lot easier. I wonder if Buffalo, their schedule is the opposite. And I was told that, yes, it is. They get that easy slate of games at the beginning of the year. And I'm like, that. You know what? That figures. They'll make it easy for Buffalo, where Buffalo probably have 6 wins halfway through because they get all the easy games early, and then we've got the tougher games early. But whatever. I'd be more than happy to sweep New England. Honestly, I want to sweep the damn Dolphins too. I hate the friggin' Dolphins. I've got idiot Dolphin fans all around me. Can't stand them. I would love to sweep the Dolphins, and I don't think they're going to be as good as a lot of people think they are. But Buffalo will definitely be our toughest team in division. But, I see right now, I'd say, 7 wins is probably our floor. The ceiling could be 8. The ceiling could be 9. It's really going to depend on how this whole thing unfolds. But I'm very confident we'll win at least 7 games.
One more than last year, I'll be happy.
Yeah, and I mean, kind of echoing what Jake was said, I'm not necessarily expecting playoffs this year, but as long as we see improvement and development out of this week to week, that's all I can ask for right now. And Glenn has said, that he's seen improvement from Fields. And, dude, there's like so many Fields doubters and so many people trying to bash this kid before he's even played a single game for us. And, you can judge by what he's done on the past, but this is a different situation. He's got different linemen blocking for him. He's got different weapons around him, different coaching, different play calling. So you can't really judge by what he's done in the past. And the other thing is like Connor Hughes was posting like Fields numbers, like, he was 4 of 16 this day, whatever. And I was like, yeah, go ahead and post that and make that it sound really bad, but you're not letting people know that a couple of those were drops that hit receivers right in the hands that they didn't hold on to. 5 of those were throwaways where just nobody was open. And instead of trying to make something happen, he did the right thing and got rid of the ball. Like, when you post numbers like that without any context, it makes him look bad. And you know what? Do a better job reporting, because we don't need the fucking negativity. Like Jets fans are inherently negative. That's why a guy like Allen is such a complete waste of space. But like, my goal is to make Jets fans miserable. Oh, really? Can you set the bar any lower, dude? Like, come on. Like, we're already miserable. And and I get it. How many times have we gotten all amped up only to be let down? But it's
hopefully
like, I was hopeful, that we were going to win a bunch of games. I was really optimistic, but I wasn't sure. Like, this year with the leadership, I feel more sure, like more confident than I have in years past.
We have a grown man leading the ship that's not going to allow people to fucking walk all over.
Max, what is your impression of Aaron Glenn so far and his approach coaching?
So I think Aaron Glenn's doing a really good job, in my opinion, and I like he's bringing back the physicality. As I stated before, I think he's bringing physicality, and I like how he's focused on attention to details, and I like he's trying to cut down the penalties. Because the last 2 years, the Jets were the most penalized team in the National Football League, as I stated before. I was talking about the Broncos game. We had 13 penalties last year, and that was unacceptable. I mean, and there are players last year complaining, like, oh, we need more discipline. Salah was trying to be buddy-buddy. I like that Aaron Glenn is trying to be an actual head coach. He's still a player's coach, but he's not trying to be everyone's friend. He's trying to be their head coach. He's trying to get them better. And I like he's doing I like he's bringing physicality. For example, they did a tackling drill. And I think, and I was saying, like, all levels should, and I people like, oh, why should they do a tackling drill? They know how to tackle the professionals. I'm like, every level of football, Pee Wee, high school, college, NFL, they always should do a tackling drill. Because I'm sorry, fundamentals is a really big thing. If you want to be a good football player, you have to know the fundamentals, in my opinion. And I like that Glenn is bringing the physicality, because the Jets team is in soft. How many times are we unprepared? Like, Salah is stubborn. We were unprepared for week 1. I think the Jets should be. I think Glenn could be a good head coach in this league. I don't want to keep my hopes high. I've been disappointed before, but if Glenn if we see improvement, I think Glenn can turn this team around. That's just my thoughts on it.
Yeah,
Fuck
I
that, man.
agree. And, that's what Glenn keeps telling everybody, there's certain things that in this game, like, you're always going to have to block. You're always going to have to tackle, like, and the only way you get good at those things is to do them. And it's so simple. It makes such perfect sense, and it seems so simple, but why weren't we doing it before? And I get it, but, you got to worry about injuries. I mean, there's got to be limits to things. You don't want guys going all out against their own teammates, but at the same time, you do got to practice that stuff. And, I think Salah was so worried about injuries, he was making decisions from a position of fear. But you can't go through life like that, man. Like, some things you just got to do. So completely agree with that. Guys, I'm not going to make tonight a real long one, so I'm going to start winding this down a little bit. Max, appreciate you calling in, man. Good first time caller. Appreciate it. Appreciate you tuning into the show, and hopefully we see you moving forward.
Good.
Hell yeah, Max.
And Addison, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure to have you on, man.
I'll be back.
I cannot wait. I'm still going to see what I can do and see if we can't figure out a way to get you over here for that Tampa game. That way we can go and watch some Jets football together and smoke and debate. Oh, which
debate on where we're going to eat. That's the only thing we're going to debate is where we're going to eat at.
Yeah, I know plenty of good places. Got it all covered. And while I'm talking about that, real quick, I'm going to take you off for just a second, Addison. Just to let people know, the new Rickie New York Smoke and Debate T-shirts are now here. The design was done by Addison. So
sick logo.
And yes, anybody that wants those, feel free to leave me a message in the comment section or hit me up on Discord, and I'll let you know how you can get your hands on one of those. Appreciate everyone's support for sure. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks everybody for joining me. Thanks Addison for being here, man. Appreciate you as always, buddy. The next show that I'm going to be doing will be Tuesday night at 8, where I will go over everything that we saw in the preseason game and break down my evaluation of how that turns out. But Addison, have a good night, man. Thanks again for popping on. Thank you to all of you for joining me. Appreciate all of you. Everybody have a great night. And like always, go Jets.